So now that you've seen a couple different ways to store data, let's take that idea of uniqueness to the next level. So there's another family of collections called maps. In that family we have things like hash map, we also have hash table, all different variations on these maps, tree map. So what is a map? Well, a map is a key value pairing structure. You're probably going to ask, what does that mean? Well, a key value system is one of the best ways to be able to store readable data in a way that you can actually find things in a system that makes sense to you. So, for instance, key and value. We already have a system kind of like this when dealing with arrays, where we kind of use the position as the key and the value being what it actually points to. So if I had an array of strings, for instance, I would have these in an order. But what happens if I end up having a huge array of different things, and I get to the point where I actually want to talk about something at the very end? Well, these keys that I'm looking at here, they don't really make sense to me as a normal human being. I mean, I do know that they're numbers, and I get that they're numbers, but it doesn't really help me if I'm trying to look for a specific type of thing. So a key value pair system is what allows you to specify something to have a relationship like an array, but you can use any data type for the key. Let me show you. Let's say I have, let me create a new hash map. And as you can see here, we have a k and a v. We get to specify the type for k and the value for v. So I'm just going to have both of them be strings, so I can use some readable pieces in there. We'll call it my hash map equal to a new hash map of strings. So how do we use this particular collection? Well, just like this. You can say put, and you can specify anything for the key and anything for the value as long as it's a string of characters. However, that key needs to be unique. You can think of it like a position in the array. It just has a readable name. So if I wanted to put my key and say for my key we get moose. Now if I want to retrieve the value moose, I can just get it using my key. Much like this, get my key. That is actually going to give us the moose. Now I can use other keys as much as I want, as long as they're strings. Oops, we want to put that to put. So this allows us to have a structure that's really, really useful for specifying details that make human readable sense to us. Let's say I wanted to actually use this as a list of different states in America and kind of a trait about them. So here I'm going to say Alaska is very cold. I'll use my hash map and put for Texas maybe something like very awesome. And then I'll put in one for California. I don't really know what California is. California is very, very... Now I'm able to see that Alaska, Texas, California, these all kind of make sense to me as unique keys for this data that I'm looking for. In fact, here's what's great about hash maps is that you can nest them. You can actually put a hash map inside of a hash map. That's why key value pairs are so powerful. So for instance, let's say I wanted to make a hash map, and again we have to specify a key and then a value. So if my key happens to be a string, but my actual value is a hash map, much like the one we just created. Now, I just want to go over this really slowly so you can see the structure, because it does look a little messy. This is the value. The value is of a type hash map that has got a key value of string. So that's the value, and this is the key. So it's just this matching to this, which allows us to create a new one, and then do something like with our new hash map. I could just say, well, this is, USA areas, and now for USA, I will get that list of areas, and then I could put other countries in there and list areas of those countries, and keep on nesting and nesting and nesting. So this structure is not as fast as, let's just say, a pure array of values. It has a lot of overhead in order to be able to find these things with the key and then look up where the key and value are actually in memory. However, they're so easily readable for storing data that makes sense to us. In fact, we're going to use this system a lot when we do networking later on, because most of the APIs on the internet like to give you data in these key value pairings.